So IKEA just released their new PS 2026 collection, and it's been quite a big deal in recent news. My personal favorite from the whole collection is the one right behind me. It's the inflatable chair. As you can tell, the green colorway is striking and bold. The functionality aspects are playful, as you can inflate and deflate the cushion parts of the chair. And this got me thinking. This is a product release that Muji would never do in a million years. At first glance, they seem surprisingly similar. Both focus on simple products, both avoid luxury pricing, both sell furniture, storage, household goods, and everyday essentials. And both have developed loyal followings far beyond their home countries. But the more time you spend with these brands, the more you realize they're solving the same problem in completely different ways. What should everyday design look like? For IKEA, the answer comes from Sweden. For Muji, the answer comes from Japan. And those cultural differences have shaped everything, from their products and stores to the way they think about design itself. Today, we're going to take a look at the philosophies behind IKEA and Muji and how their home countries influence their approach and what their newest products reveal about where each brand is heading next. This is Josh from BrandsWalk, back at it again with another video. Without further ado, let's get started. So IKEA was founded in 1943 by Ingvar Kamprad in the small Swedish village of Älmhult. Sweden has long been associated with a design philosophy that values accessibility, practicality, and equality. Good design wasn't supposed to belong only to wealthy people and aristocrats. It should be available to everyone. This idea eventually became known as democratic design. It's the belief that products should balance function, quality, sustainability, form, and affordability. That philosophy still defines IKEA to this day. Even when you walk through an IKEA showroom, you're seeing more than furniture. You're seeing an attempt to create a complete vision of everyday living. It's a vision where good design is accessible regardless of income. Chapter 2. The Origins of MUJI. Muji began almost 4 decades later after IKEA. Founded in Japan in 1980, Muji emerged as a response to something very different: consumer excess. At the time, Japanese retail was becoming increasingly driven by branding, advertising, and packaging. But Muji pushed back. Its original name literally translates roughly to no brand quality goods. And that statement alone tells you almost everything about the company. Muji wasn't interested in selling status. It wasn't interested in creating iconic products. Instead, it focused on removing unnecessary elements, removing excessive packaging, visual noise, unnecessary decoration. What's left should be something useful, honest, and long-lasting. This approach aligns closely with Japanese design philosophies such as simplicity, restraint, and the appreciation for everyday objects. Where IKEA asks, how can design improve life? Muji often asks, what can we remove to improve life? Chapter 3. Scandinavian design versus Japanese design. So this is where the two brands become fascinating. IKEA's Scandinavian roots often celebrate warmth, natural materials, color, personality. There's a sort of sense of optimism in many of IKEA products. You could see it in their textiles, children's furniture, and seasonal collections. Even their storage solutions often have a playful quality. Muji takes a totally different approach to this. Many Muji products intentionally fade into the background. A storage container shouldn't draw attention to itself. A notebook shouldn't demand attention either. A chair should simply perform its task well. One philosophy expresses, the other reduces. One creates personality, the other creates calm. Neither approach is better. They're simply different answers to the same question. What role should objects play in our everyday lives? Chapter 4. IKEA's latest experiment. So if you want to understand IKEA's current direction, take a look at their latest IKEA PS 2026 collection. The PS collection has historically served as IKEA's sort of experimental playground, and the newest collection may be one of the most playful yet. The collection includes 44 products created by 12 designers and revolves around a theme IKEA calls playful functionality. Some highlights may include one of my favorites, the inflatable easy chair, a rocking bench, a folding table, a playful wheeled trolley, and flexible lighting solutions. All of these furniture pieces are designed specifically for small space living. What's interesting isn't any individual products per se, it's the overall message. For years, interiors have become increasingly sterile and neutral, safe for lack of a better term. The PS 2026 collection feels like IKEA encouraging people to have fun again. The products still solve practical problems, but they do so with more personality and more experimentation than any other typical IKEA catalog. And that's classic IKEA. Democratic design doesn't have to be serious. Chapter 5, Muji Today. So Muji's recent direction tells a very different story. Rather than creating a highly visible design statement, Muji continues refining its core philosophy. Its recent Muji Labo collections focuses on natural materials, recycled fabrics, comfortable silhouettes, and craftsmanship-driven production. You can see the same thinking throughout the company's newer household products. Storage systems becoming more adaptable, clothing becoming more versatile. Instead of asking consumers to notice the design, Muji often asks consumers to notice their own lives. And that's the subtle distinction. When IKEA launches an inflatable chair, people talk about the chair. When Muji releases a better storage solution, people often talk about how their room feels afterwards. Muji's products rarely seek attention. Their success comes from disappearing into everyday routines. Chapter 6. What each brand teaches us. The reason both brands remain relevant is that neither is really chasing trends. They're building on foundations they've built decades ago. IKEA continues exploring how design can be democratic, affordable, and joyful, while Muji continues exploring how design can become quieter, more restrained, simpler, and overall more useful. In many ways, they represent two sides of modern design. IKEA asks the question, how can design improve everyday life and make it a bit more colorful? Muji asks, how can fewer things improve everyday life? And perhaps that's why so many people end up using both. An IKEA dining table, a Muji notebook, an IKEA lamp, a Muji storage box. Together, they create a balance between expression and restraint. So in conclusion, IKEA and Muji are often grouped together because they're affordable and design-focused compared to the competition. But beneath the surface, they're fundamentally different. One emerged from Sweden's belief that good design should belong to everyone, while the other emerged from Japan's belief that removing the unnecessary can improve daily life. And both continue to prove that thoughtful design doesn't need to be necessarily expensive. So I guess it comes down to, which philosophy do you prefer? The playful optimism of IKEA or the quiet simplicity of Muji? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. BrandsWalk is an online lifestyle, e-commerce, and media platform where we curate brands from all over the world while telling their stories and philosophies behind their products. If you want to know and see more from BrandsWalk, make sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter to receive 15% off your first order. As always, this is Josh from BrandsWalk signing out. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.